Hello again, I'm James Taylor, the author of Jazz and Improvised Piano, and in this video I'm going to give you a version of Summertime, which is very much a top-down approach. It's sort of simplified so that we can do a lot more with it, so that it becomes putty in your hand, so to speak. Now I'm going to use only 4 chords for this. I'm going to show you what these chords are. The first one is a D minor chord in 3-5-7-9. Okay, so if you find a D minor triad, this provides 1, 3 and 5. Now then, the left hand will play 1, 4, so we don't need that, which leaves us with 3 and 5. On top of this now, put 7 and 9. Rotate to the D, we come down 2 steps, that's our 7, and we go up 2 steps from the D, which gives us our 9. There's the D minor chord in 3-5-7-9. That's the first chord of the piece. Okay, so that's the basic chord we'll be using some of the time. The second chord is a G minor chord in 7-9-3-5. For this you find your G minor triad. And then you replace, this is 1, 3 and 5. We're going to replace the G with 7 and 9. 1, 3 and 5. Well, 2 steps below the 1 is the 7, and 2 steps above the 1 is the 9. So we've now got a G minor in 7-9-3-5. So the first chord is a D minor in 3-5-7-9. The second chord is a G minor in 7-9-3-5. Now the third chord, which by the way won't quite fit with a melody, but it'll be okay, is this A chord. It's a sharp 9. It's a 7 chord, sharp 9 and sharp 5. In a sort of 7-9-3-5 voicing. So here's how we find this. There's the A major triad. Now then, we're going to replace the 1, this is 1, 3 and 5 again, we're going to replace the 1 with 7, which is 2 steps below it, and 9, which is 2 steps above it. So now we've got a sort of A7 chord with a 7, 9 and a 3 and a 5. As I said, we're going to sharpen the 9 and sharpen the 5. Well, this is 7, this is 9, so we're going to change this, and this is 3 and this is 5. So this one and this one are going to be sharpened. So sharpen the 9, sharpen the 5, which gives us this chord here. That's our third chord. So we got the D minor chord in 3-4-7-9. We've got the G minor in 7-9-3-5. We've got the A chord in 7 sharp 9 3 sharp 5. Now the final chord is this F major in 7-9-3-5. Here's the F major chord, F major triad rather, and this is 1, 3 and 5. We're going to replace 1 with the major 7, which is just down 1 step, and the 9, which is up 2 steps, which gives us this. Notice it's all white notes, by the way. So this is the F major chord in 7-9-3-5, 7 and 9, there's 1 step below the root, 9, 2 steps above it, and 3 and 5, the top 2 notes of the F major triad. Okay, now the left hand can just play 4 roots for each chord. So what you get will sound like this. I've just realised that I didn't tell you that I put the sequence for this just below the video. So if you'd like to go to the text that's just below the video now, you'll be able to see the sequence that I'm using there, and you can then practice the chords. Play the chords in the right hand, just to quickly remind you and go through them. The D minor chord is this. The G minor chord is this. The A7 chord is this, and the F major chord is this. So if you play those chords where written in the chord sequence, and the left hand just plays 4 roots for each, underneath each chord. So under the D you play each D written, and so forth. Now then, I'd like to just extend this a little bit further and get you practicing finding different chords. So first of all then, if we look at the D minor. Okay, by the way, this is the end of the summertime bit of it, if you like. We're just going to now show you ways of finding the chords so you can practice finding the types of chords. And this, of course, will carry on to all the other pieces of jazz that you study. So this is really, it's really showing you what you can take from your summertime practice and carry onwards to other pieces. First of all, the 3-5-7-9 voicing. There's your 1, 3 and 5 for D minor, and so there's 3 and 5. 7 and 9 are 2 steps each side of the upper root. So finding that now for a C, suppose we had a C minor chord, and we wanted to find that in 3-5-7-9, we find the C minor triad. We don't need the 1 because the left hand will play that, which leads us to 3 and 5. And then relative to the upper C, we've got 7, 2 steps below it, and 9, 2 steps above it. So now pause this video and see if you can find the F minor chord in 3-5-7-9. Right, I'll show you now. We find the F minor triad, we lose the bottom note, which gives us just 3 and 5, and then relative to the upper F we find 2 steps each side, 7 and 9, and there's the chord. And supposing we were to find this voicing 3-5-7-9 for G minor, so you can do that right now. Okay, here we go, I'll show you. Find the G minor triad. We don't need the 1, which leads us with 3 and 5. And then relative to the upper G, 2 steps below, 2 steps above, which gives us this chord here. So those are the 3-5-7-9 voicings, which is a very useful voicing to learn. So maybe try that in other keys. Maybe try it in A minor perhaps, and if you're feeling brave, E flat minor. Now the second type of chord voicing was the 7-9-3-5, which we used. In summertime we found the G minor triad and we replaced the 1 with 7 and 9, 2 steps each side, and that's what we found. So we found the minor triad and we just replaced the 1 with notes 2 steps each side. Carrying that through for C, here's a C minor triad, replace the C with 7 and 9, and there's our 7-9-3-5 for C. So you can do that now for F. Pause the video. Okay, I'll show you now. Find the F minor triad, just replace the F with notes 2 steps below and 2 steps above. There you go. And finally, in this set, B flat minor. So find your B flat minor triad and replace the B flat. Right, here we go. B flat minor triad is this. Replace the B flat, 2 steps below, 2 steps above. Now maybe try finding a few other random 7-9-3-5 minor voicings. Find D minor in that voicing, and find E minor as well. Actually, I'll show you E minor because it's a bit unusual. Relative to the E, 2 steps below, and 2 steps above is the F sharp. I say that because people are a bit cautious about this F sharp here. Okay, now then, the third chord was this A chord that we found. So we found this by finding the A major triad, by replacing the A with a 7 and 9, and this is 7-9-3-5. Now it's a sharp 9 and a sharp 5 chord, so we sharpen the 9 and sharpen the 5, and there's the chord. So carrying that through to C, if you want a C7 with a sharp 9 and sharp 5, find the C major triad, replace the C with notes 2 steps below, 2 steps above, and that's 7-9-3-5. Finally, sharpen the 9 and sharpen the 5. And that's the chord. C7, sharp 9, sharp 5. Okay, can you do this for G? Have a go now, and I'll show you in a second. Right, here we go. Here's a G major triad. Replace G with 7, which is 2 steps below, and 9, 2 steps above. This is 7, 9, 3, 5. And finally, because it's a sharp 9, sharp 5, we sharpen the 9 and sharpen the 5. And there's the chord. Maybe if you want to find a D chord now, see if you can find a D chord in a sharp 9, a 7, sharp 9, sharp 5 voicing. Here we go. A D major triad. Replace the D with 2 steps below, 2 steps above. That's 7, 9, 3, 5. Then we sharpen the 9. Well, the sharp 9 is actually this note here. And sharpen the 5. And here we go. So now maybe find a 7, sharp 9, sharp 5 voicing for B flat. And maybe choose any other key that you want to. Finally, the major chord. In summertime, we found an F major chord in 7, 9, 3, 5. So we find the F major triad first, and replace the F with notes 1 step below, and 2 steps above. So that's the F major in 7, 9, 3, 5. So find a B flat major chord in 7, 9, 3, 5. For this one, you find a B flat major triad. Replace the B flat with 1 step below and 2 steps above. And there it is. Can you find an A flat major chord in 7, 9, 3, 5? Okay. Find the A flat major triad. Replace the A flat with major 7, which is down 1 step, and the 9, which is up 2 steps. Notice when it's major, the 7 is only down 1 step. Okay, and supposing we were to find, I don't know, an E flat major chord in 7, 9, 3, 5. First of all, we find the E flat major triad. Now what do? Yep, we come down from the root 1 step to find the major 7, and we go up from the E flat 2 steps to find the 9. And there's the chord. Right, it's actually very useful to learn these processes, so do follow through the second bit where you go through the processes of finding the chords, because it's actually more useful to know the process of finding the chord than to know just how to find the chord from memory. Okay, I do hope that this has been useful, and I'll speak soon. Oh yes, I'm just about to post a second video which shows you a nice funky bass line that you can use under these chords.